Hey Ryan, I feel sorry for you. You got trouble behind you.
Trouble.
Which one?
Right behind
That's
you.
why I sat over here, so you didn't have to look at me. Trying to put Ryan and you, Ryan between us.
We'll talk about city council members here in a minute.
No. No, you don't want to talk about their mistake.
Be gentle, Ryan. Be gentle.
Give her a minute. She'll be right in there.
But do we have Ron?
I'm here.
All right, thank you,
Oh,
Ron.
good.
Good.
All right, we can start then.
But I can't see him. I didn't know if that invoked the.
I'm on the phone.
Yeah. You got a camera on your phone?
No.
That's what I'm saying, that's the step I had to go under.
So you can't vote.
Yeah, you can't vote.
Can't vote.
Yeah, you can't.
Can't see you.
vote, you can't be seen. But you still got quorum though.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Just close.
but the chairman usually does not vote, according to Robert's Rules of Order, except to make a tie or break a tie, in which case that would not probably happen.
Yeah.
Now, we do have an option. I could become a regular member and we could turn the meeting over to, say, Kyle, if you would step in, handle the gavel.
Sure. Yeah, I'd be happy to run the meeting.
Okay, I'll be a regular member.
And we did talk to Lois. Lois said she'd be
Lois is
here.
coming. You know, that may be our out in a minute or two.
You wanna get started, or you wanna?
We can wait on that. So, usually she comes last minute.
Some probably broke the laundromat and up there.
If we stay long enough, we'll bring a beverage and food. Huh? Well, I want to come down here for refreshments.
We got a commissioner instead of Lois.
Oh, no Lois yet.
Not that I've seen. I can get a start if you want. I can just run the meeting from here.
Let me see if she's close.
It's not be close. Might be coming through the
No,
door.
I don't know, she didn't pick up. Well, Kyle, let's get started.
need any help,
I sure will. I call this meeting to order and stand for the pledge of allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please, Ms. Harrison.
Howe,
Here?
Johnson,
Here?
Jones, Long,
Here.
Maynard,
Here,
Florence, Hartman,
Here.
Thank you. Next items, approval the minutes from the June 6, 2022 meeting. If everyone's had the opportunity to read those.
I'll make the motion, we accept them.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Howe, or you can't,
Yes.
you can vote on
Can't vote, right? Can't vote.
that, you can't vote. Okay. Johnson,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Maynard,
Yeah,
Hartman.
Yes.
Findings of fact from the June 6, 2022 meeting. First one, Sweetser United Methodist Church. Open up to any discussion on,
I'll make the motion, we accept finding the facts.
I'll second it.
any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Johnson,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Maynard,
Yes,
Hartman.
Yes.
Next findings of fact from the June 6th meeting were Mickey and Holly Eccles.
I make a motion that we accept it as finding the facts.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Johnson,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Maynard,
Yeah,
Hartman.
Yes.
You want my vote?
You can't vote, Ron, since we can't see you pursuant to state law.
Okay.
So, thank you. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Next item, findings of fact, Timothy and Donna Kolb.
I say we accept it, finding of the facts, except for, we still have to know that the property line is not right on that? We still are going to investigate that, or what?
Well, the variances allows it as is. And we've got
Even though
that
we know
throughout
it's-
the whole GIS.
So then I say we find fact, finding the facts.
I'll second it.
So the proposal, Mr. Johnson, is as written.
Yes.
Second. Any other discussion?
No.
Roll call, please.
Johnson,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Maynard,
Yeah,
Hartman.
Yes.
All right, public hearings. There's no old business on public hearings, so the new business, petitioner Jeremy Taylor, 101 South Main Street, Sweetser, Indiana. Mr. Taylor, if you would like to come up to the podium, please. It's a petition to allow a porch to be 0 foot from the west property line, Main Street, instead of the required 20 feet. All right, if you'd like to state your case to the board.
So, trying to make this house, I guess it's like the oldest building in Sweetser. Praise God, I think it was there before Sweetser was Sweetser, so trying to put a front porch on the house, and with that said, in the easement, as I stated last meeting here, I have all the sign-offs from all utility companies, including the town board too as well. That sign we had posted in the yard for 90 days, or something like that, but I can't remember how many days it was. And so here I am, waiting to get the stamp of approval.
Okay, Mr. Malat, is there anything you would like to add? And what is the staff recommendation here?
On this, just some of the notes that we had, and Mr. Taylor also explained this last time talking to us. He is doing a full remodel restoration of this building for a resale of the property. We noted that most homes located in this area are also located very close to the right-of-way. They are legal non-conforming, meaning they existed prior to our zoning ordinance going in place. One thing I did note when we talk about it, Indiana code, even with the remodel, would require a proper form of egress. And I noted that in here, that the egress and the direct path leading from the front door would have to be 36 inches, which would put him on the property line. So, you know, even to make him follow code, we're to the property line on that. Again, in the staff report, basically asking, is there any opposition to this? We've talked to Dave Fox, we've talked to Chuck Reedy. We do have the letters that Mr. Taylor brought in. It has, everyone that we've talked to or seen has had a positive review to it. I did note that the non-conforming structures, if we look at that, they do not include a roof. I included those with this, noting the addition of an open patio or deck that is less than 30 inches above grade or step shall not constitute the expansion of a non-conforming structure. If we go down to the very next one, it talks about the foundation. So we don't address if they add a shed style roof to the top of it. So that would not be considered an expansion. Again, we are giving him a 0 setback, even though we know he's going into the right-of-way. Just a reminder that we have no authority inside of the right-of-way, only up to the property line. So, you know, basically on the staff report, we put forward a no recommendation. We don't have an issue with what he's doing other than the fact that the ordinance doesn't allow him to do it, if that makes sense.
But he did contact all the utilities, like.
Yes, those letters should be,
contact item and all that.
are included in your packet, and I did take several pictures, as you guys can see, walking through the project.
Do you have any questions from the Department of Transportation? Anything on that? Since you said he's kind of in between.
He had town approval, it is a town approval.
All right. Does the board have any questions for Mr. Taylor?
I guess I have one for Ryan. How could this not be non-conforming if he puts a roof on it? Why does that make it a conforming?
It doesn't, it's still, the ordinance doesn't address the roof. Generally you cannot add to the footprint or foundation of a non-conforming structure. Our ordinance says that you can add a porch without it being considered expansion, but we don't address the roof. My bigger concern, and we've kind of talked about, would be if we ever enclosed it, then it becomes something completely different.
Yeah, but it's an egress. He has to have it for fire, right? I take it that
Well,
door
on-
has to be for fire?
On the building end of it, he has to have 36 inches in direct path
And he's got that,
of a plat.
and he's
Well,
got that.
he doesn't actually even have that now. He does
Oh, you're
with,
taking it out some?
no, he's got it with the deck. What he had prior was basically a step.
Oh, okay.
So,
Now, when he put the roof on it, started to build the roof, that's when it became a problem, correct? Because.
but we didn't know he was
doing
putting any in.
No.
So,
I had the building permit, and my understanding of the easement was you take the road, half of the road, come off the edge of the road towards the home, that's the easement. So when I built it, I got myself at least 6 foot from that to make sure I was in, but I wasn't aware of the cross arm off the utility pole, it adds to that easement.
Yeah.
And I wasn't aware of that, and that's where it got me in a pickle.
so as it sets, he is still 15 foot off the road.
Right.
Yeah, I walked
Until he
it,
began building a
yeah.
roof, we had no issue with what he was doing.
Right. It wouldn't even require a permit.
Right, okay. Now, I drove past and took a look at it. Overhead, are there any problems overhead? Is the distance safe and correct from any utility lines?
Yes, AEP gave me the sign off on that.
They said at least 12 and a half feet clear. Is that,
Clearance, yeah.
is that clearance going to be there once the roof is there?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Do we have any more questions for Mr. Taylor? Okay. You may be seated, sir.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, board.
Is there any opposition to this petition? Okay. None seen. I'll close the hearing, and the board is open for discussion if they have any other further questions or comments amongst themselves here.
Ryan, how'd you come about him not being in compliant, when you first found out?
We received a call from someone in town. So we ran over to look at it. As soon as we were aware of it, we got, as you can see, that we got the stop work order up. Generally, that wouldn't be our first step. If someone was there, we would talk to them first. Because there was no one there, we halted it.
So once you.
And Mr. Taylor, as soon as he saw it, he called us that same day to start working on a solution.
So will this be a single family, or will it be the hotel again?
Single family.
No, I mean, if
Yeah,
it's a hotel,
Yeah,
that's the draw.
That's
That's the draw.
yeah, this will be back into residential, and it is already, was it R3, it is zoned R3 already.
Okay. I didn't see that, but I guess I didn't read it.
On the front.
Yeah, I see it now. I didn't-
Okay, are there any more questions from the board?
I'll make the motion that we accept it and approve it.
Do we have a second?
I second that.
Okay, Mr. Maynard made the motion, Mr. Johnson seconded. Brenda, would you give us a roll call, please?
Johnson,
Yes, with a comment that says, I don't even know why we even slow it down. Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Maynard,
Yeah,
Jones,
Yes,
Motion passed. Mr. Taylor, you're approved. We thank you for coming in.
Appreciate it. Do you want to sign? I have to sign, I was told to bring it with me.
Yeah, you can put it in.
Okay. Mr. Scott Lewis, would you come to the podium, please, and sign in?
Scott Lewis.
Ryan, would you
Where's the?
introduce this petition?
Okay, this is BZA docket 07 BZAV-2 for Scott Lewis. It is a petition for a development standard variance from the area-wide zoning ordinance to install an above-ground swimming pool 3 foot off the west property line instead of the required 20. In this instance, the swimming pool has already been installed. It was installed due to a miscommunication where Mr. Lewis got town approval from Jonesboro and even approval for the fire department to fill the pool over a weekend before we found out that the pool got installed. They were unaware that they needed to come and get a pool permit from us. Again, the Lewises have worked with us. We went out and talked to them. I had noted if we get into the pictures, kind of lays out where the pool is located. They have actually removed several large mature trees to clear out the property to install the pool where it is located. They've got some topography issues. One of our biggest concerns when we got there and first found it was overhead lines and what was above the pool, and measuring it out, finding out that it was only 3 foot off the right of way. So this is one of those where we kind of got there after the fact, and they were surprised that there was an issue because they had already talked to the town, and the town had even filled the swimming pool up for them.
Yeah, we had no clue that we needed a permit, or obviously we would have gotten one.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Malai.
I know that was all over the place.
Okay, are there questions from the board?
Will it have to require a fence?
They are, as long as they are 48 inches off the ground, they're not required a fence as long as they have a lockable ladder. But they are looking to put a deck onto the pool at some point in the future. We've already had that discussion as far as needing a permit.
Right.
And that even with this variance, the deck could not be located on the west side where the variance would be located at.
Okay.
So, and again, where they have it located at, if you look at the topography there is about a 3 foot drop from the edge of their pool to the driveway. Taking out the large trees, I tried to get pictures. They do have large mature roots also in the ground around that. And part of the difficulty of trying to get the pads and supports and anchors down was trying to get around those tree roots.
So we're literally, when I put this pool up, we're literally to the edge of the roots. If you came up to the pool and seen, there's roots right, within an inch of the sidewall.
I took pictures. So
There you go, yeah.
Yeah, when I did a drive-by, it looked like, when looking at your lot, there were not a whole lot of choices
No.
for a pool that size.
Yeah, we pretty much have a side yard and that's it.
The lines above, we checked with AEP. AEP came in, they are all telephone and cable. They are a good distance away from actual power lines. And the pool is located 18 foot from the edge of the road also.
Yeah, and we called 811 as well and had them come out to make sure that we wasn't putting it on top of any, existing lines or anything like that.
Okay. Does the board have any more questions?
I don't see a traffic problem. You've got it far enough back from the stop sign. But why would we worry about the right of way then? If we're not gonna interfere with the stopping and the going of
Because your setback from that right of way is 20 foot.
Oh,
I understand that,
And
I
that would put
understand
the
that.
pool,
Jonesboro understood that too, or they wouldn't have given him that, okay. I
And
mean,
so
I
we,
understand that they have to understand
we share that alley, because that's basically an alley that comes to our drive-through, or our driveway. We share that alley with Dave.
yeah.
That's why I had Dave come with me to let let everyone here know that he doesn't have a problem with where the pool's at. Because him and his family are basically the only ones that use that alley other than us.
Basically use the other for a driveway.
Yeah, that's really all it is, but
Yeah.
it's technically,
Because they tried to park on 9th Street, they could not park on 9th Street.
it. No, I understood that. But there's a stop sign there.
Okay, does the board have any more questions?
Nope.
You may sit down, sir.
all right, thank you.
Does the board have any discussion amongst themselves? Any questions?
I would like to make a motion, it doesn't have to be right yet, but I think if the swimming pool's gonna be up, we let him have it, and in 10 years it goes away, you cannot replace it.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying to you, we'll put that in the variance, if that's agreeable.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it could be 5 years, it could be 5 years, pools go fast, especially if you got them out where the.
So you're talking if we replace the whole pool, not like say the liner?
Yeah, well, no, just the pool itself.
Yeah.
I'd say we put that in the variance.
Okay.
Okay?
I agree with that.
And this variance will be for just the owner,
Yes, just the owner.
It won't follow.
so it will not go to the next owner.
So how would we handle that if we decided, say, 10 years from now to sell the house and the pool was still there?
You'd need to tell them that they'd have to come in and get a variance, because that one would expire when you leave. Any other questions or discussion? Okay, do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion. We set it as
With the variance.
William Johnson said.
With the variance.
Okay, we have a motion to accept it as
With the variance.
discussed with the variance stipulations
Yeah.
included. Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Motion. Mrs. Jones, second. Mr. Maynard made the motion. Brenda, would you give us a roll call, please?
Johnson,
Yes?
Jones,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Maynard,
Yeah.
Motion passed.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for coming in, and you're approved.
Thank you.
And we've got the city councilman here if you want to tear into him for.
Yeah, put it up.
Well, I didn't hear him on the radio, I heard the mayor.
Right. You will not hear
Quiet.
on the radio. Right.
Hey, he helped build it, and then the fire chief council built it.
Yep.
Looked like a nice pool.
Thank you. Yeah, we actually voted for the grandbabies. They're the ones that's gonna enjoy
Well,
it.
they grow up and they don't wanna come over.
Well, hopefully it'll attract them for a little while longer. You guys have a good day.
Thank you.
so much.
Appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
And she'll be around, so, thank you.
Okay, at this time, do we have any other business? Kyle Persinger, do you have anything to report?
Not tonight, no.
Okay, and at this time, it is an open public forum where anyone can speak. And we have one guest in our midst, our new Commissioner, Steve Wright. So if you'd like to introduce yourself,
Sure.
sir, we'd like to hear from you.
Ed, I do have one thing.
You have another thing? Okay.
You
got something else?
I've got something,
I just,
You got something too? Okay, well, Go ahead, sir.
Sure?
Go ahead. and
very good.
We'll get everybody in.
Well, thanks for giving me a moment to speak and stuff. I've been a commissioner now for a whopping 5 days. And baptism by fire with the solar ordinance out in front of us, right? But to give you a little bit of background of me, I put in a 20-year career with Indiana Michigan Power. Everything from alignment to customer service to marketing, and then I was a dealer rep calling on heating and cooling contractors and builders and people like that. 20-year career with them, decided to start my own business, did that for 6 years, had a video production company along with an ad agency. At that time, I was doing some work for the local General Motors plant out here, and they gave me a call and asked me if I'd be interested in putting in an application for the communications coordinator position. So I did that, and did that for 13 years. During that time, I can tell you that I had no formal education coming into General Motors. That's one of the reasons that I left I&M, because I didn't have a formal education, and I got so far and I couldn't go any farther without a degree. And so I went to work for them when I was 17, and so just fresh out of high school. And so when I went to work for General Motors, I knew that that would be probably a requirement. And I told them that when they called me, and they said, no, we know, but would you be interested in going and getting one if we paid for it? So I did. I did my associate's degree, my bachelor's degree, and I have a master's degree in business administration. 13 years into it, as soon as I also got on with General Motors, I also was elected to the Marion City Council. So I spent 12 years on the Marion City Council, 3 terms. And so dealt with a lot of issues that we all know that Marion has, whether it's code enforcement or whatever. That's one of the things that I've really kind of worked on a lot. I went for my 4th term, got beat by 26 votes out of 3,000 and some, because I was an at-large candidate. And I was wondering why that happened to me at that time. A year and a half later, General Motors had an opportunity to become a district sales manager for them. And so I traveled the last 6 years of my career with them across the country, starting out in Spokane, Washington, and then went to Toledo, Ohio, and then was asked to go to Connecticut to help out with some dealerships up that way. Retired from there at 19, came back and did a stint with our local Y. They just lost their executive director. People came to me and asked me if I would fill that until they could find somebody. I was happy to do that. I told them to give them 6 months. A year later, they finally found somebody, and that's about the time my wife had a stroke. And so I've been dealing with that for about the last year and a half. Happy to say that she's made great progress. She was told she'd never walk again. She'd never have any use of her left side. And happy to say today that when we just come back from a vacation, I'm watching her cut her steak across the table from me and eating with her left arm. I was thrilled as all get out with tears coming down the eyes. So, but I do feel that she's in a position, and I asked her about this commissioner's position, what she thought about that, and she thought it would be great for me to kind of get my feet back into the fire a little bit. And we agreed to that, and so happy to say that the caucus elected me to the position. And I'm looking forward to serving the rest of this term, and we'll see what that brings for a re-election bid in 2.5 years. That gave you a little bit of background about me. So I've got utility background, got my own business background, and I've got large industry background. Have contacts in all those areas and things. Been former Chamber of Commerce Board chairman. I was sitting on the Economic Growth Council as their president when General Motors, took this job, and I had to leave that position. But a vast background in Marion and Grant County, and that's the reason we came back home. This is home. I love it. Thought with this I could still, like I say, got a little gas in the tank to give, and that's the reason I came back in. So appreciate you and what you do. I know it's a non-paid position, right?
Yeah.
And so for you guys to take time out of your busy schedule, I know what it's like driving around, checking things and stuff. Oh, I'll take the time. It's not just one meeting a month. I know that for a fact because I've been there, done that, but I appreciate each and every one of you. Looking forward to working with you in any way I can. My phone number's out there pretty good right now, with the solar ordinance.
Oh, yeah.
And so feel free to give me a call anytime you'd like, and be more than happy to sit down. If I don't answer my phone, on all probability, I'm talking to somebody else, because I really do try to get back at least the day of that I get the call, unless it's late at night or something like that. Fielded 4 calls yesterday on the 4th of July, as well as talked to an individual personally on the 4th of July. So I'm not afraid to kind of take time to dig into what I need to do. So, but again, appreciate what you guys do and gals do. Glad to see we got some representation from the female class and the minority class on this board. I think it's very vital. I was asking Ed today, what's the makeup of our board? And I guess on my part right now, and I don't want to take too much time, but we've only been at it about 35 minutes. I'd like to know about each one of you. Tell me your backgrounds, if that would be appropriate, Ed.
I'll start it out.
I think it's fine.
Would that be all right?
I'll start it out. I live in Jonesboro.
Okay.
I grew up in Gas City for 33 years and got married and moved to Jonesboro. And I've been there for about 31 years now. I got about 31 years on the fire department in Jonesboro. I got about 7 on this board and the APC board.
So you sit on both boards?
Yeah, I sit on both boards.
Okay, okay.
I'm vice chairman on this board and I'm the president or the chairman of the APC
Okay,
and everything. So that's my background.
good.
I went to Miss Illinois.
Mike, no, Commissioner Wright is taking Ron Mallory's spot on the APC.
Yeah.
So he is coming to be a member of the Area Planning Commission.
And I'll find out when your meetings are and things, and I will attend, just like I've attended tonight.
Normally it'd be right after this one.
Oh, is that right? So that's the way it works? Okay, okay. And is that tonight?
Yeah,
That
they
way-
don't have one.
Don't anything on the
They're
board
not
or
having
on
one
the
July.
docket? Okay, okay.
Lois, do you want to do that?
Yeah, I'm Lois Jones from Marion, Indiana, and I married 42 years. I went to Marion High School. I own a business in Upland, and I'm the representative for Upland.
Okay,
And I have 1 son and my husband, and we're good to go.
awesome. How long have you been on the board as well?
Well, about 16, when I went to 16, 17.
16 years?
I've been on there all the time.
Yeah,
Wow.
Bob, is it 16?
Yeah, we all came on at the same time.
Yeah, we're about
Got
16
14
years.
years.
Yeah,
Good
we've
for
been here-
you.
yeah,
Good
we've
for
been here
y'all.
I've been here
That's-
quite some time.
That's a commitment.
Oh, yeah,
Awesome.
we're serious,
Yeah, that's good.
and we're watching.
That's good.
Because you don't find too many people stick around too long.
Well, especially when there's heated problems, right? I mean, you know, and that's what I
Well,
wanted to
you
come
walked
in.
into one.
Oh, man, right? I mean, I walked into the coals of fire. I mean, you know, so, but, you know, and that's what we have to deal with is those type of positions, correct?
Yeah, and I'm a former chairperson of the BZA, so.
Good. Thank you.
Well, you know me, I'm Ed Hartman, and I'm a graduate of Anderson University, and my majors were accounting, business administration, and organizational leadership. I'm the newest guy on the board, almost, except Ron Howe has been here less time than I am. I'm in the first year of my 2nd term, and I enjoy working for the community, and I enjoy this board.
Good.
Good group of people here. I'm proud of all of them.
Terms, Ed, or how long?
4 years.
4 years?
And you can be, you know, renewed. I don't think there's a limit
Okay,
on that.
okay, good, thank you.
I'm Chip Long. I've sat on the board 14 or 15 years also. My life is around agriculture, and then we had a little mishap with the combine, and I had to go to town to work, and then I ended up as town manager of Upland, and held that position for 18 years, and then retired from there. And here I am.
Wow, great.
I forgot to tell you that I was retired from RCA.
Oh,
Yes.
good, good. How many years you have in the RCA?
37.
37.
Yeah, 37.
What happened was they extended, even though there
Wow,
When
That's awesome.
Stay on, they told me stay on.
yeah. All right.
I'm Bill Johnson, I'm from Upland, I've been in Grant County all my life. Worked in Owens, Illinois, as a journeyman mechanic. And then when they shut down, I started working with the disabled up in Huntington. And I worked there for 20 years. And then after that, I actually left that in a huff. Me and my boss got in a little discussion and I left, he won. And then I drove a commercial bus for 17 years. So I've been on the board with Lois, Chip, every one of us has been the chairperson. That I know, everybody's been the chairperson here. I was there for 2 terms, and that was enough of that.
Boy, that doesn't- I understand that.
Vice chair.
I was president of the city council too, a couple of times, and it's like, okay, I've had enough of that.
But I just want to tell you, I met you.
Get your
No, I got enough on
get your hot,
ABC.
get your hot
You
shoes
did
ready,
a
you're
pretty
next.
good job as far as I'm concerned, with Ron Mowry leaving and they put you in there. I thought they did a good job on the newspaper.
Yeah.
They didn't bash you or nothing, so that's kind of unusual for paper.
This board is made up of citizen representative from the commissioners, citizen representative from the council, and it is made up of two APC representatives. One representative in incorporated area, one representative in unincorporated area. And then Upland is our largest population within our jurisdiction. So they receive 3.
Upland.
Yeah.
Really?
So they receive 3 members voted on by their town board.
So that's not population, that is size of,
That's population.
is it population in Upland?
Yeah,
It's just
38,
slightly
45.
larger than its,
Yeah.
smaller counterpart.
See,
Fair
I
amount.
tell you, I attend meetings, I talk to people, I find out stuff that I had no clue, and I've lived here since I was 14. So I really do appreciate the opportunity to come and.
But the university's included in that too.
So the students are included in that?
Because they're there more than 9 months.
Okay,
And so the population does fluctuate, but the last census, it was 3845.
okay. And student-wise for Taylor is what?
It was 1780.
6, yeah.
Yeah, it was only 1780, I think, last year.
17.
1780.
That's all it was?
Yeah.
It's been dropping. Anderson was dropping. too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a serious problem in colleges today, that they are dropping.
We forgot Ron Howell. Ron, are you there? Maybe he's not there.
No, I guess he's gone.
Up there,
I thought he was user 2.
Hang on. Now can you hear me?
There you
Ron, I'm gonna swing around here so I can see you a little bit better,
Ron, I
okay?
didn't want to leave you
You
out,
can't see.
Oh, I can't see. Oh, okay.
Yeah, video.
but I'd like you to introduce.
I try to keep myself incognito. But I'm a native Buckeye, and if Rex tells you anything that's true, I taught it to him. If he tells you anything that's false, I didn't have a thing to do with it. So I taught for 33 years at Mississippi Law and have run an accounting business and an insurance business for over 50 years. And I was at one time the Mill Township trustee, and I graduated from Ball State twice. So that's basically me. I have a wife, Linda, a second wife. My first wife passed away, and I have 2 children of my own, and one of them teaches at Alec, and the other teaches at Marion and is retiring, I hope, or thinking about retiring. And I have when I got married, I got 5 extra children because Linda had 5 children, 4 of them adopted, 2 of them from Ecuador, and 2 of them from Grant County, and then she went and had one of her own. So we live in Jonesboro, and I taught government and economics for 33 years. And that's pretty much me without a picture.
Good. Well, thank you so much, Ron. Appreciate that very much. And like I say, I just want to take a moment and just thank you for what you do. Like I say, non-paid position. You've given many years, now that I know that, given many years to this community and things, and trying to keep us all out of hot water, right? And I love the way you conducted business tonight, asking some great questions, some tough questions and stuff, just to make sure that you were doing the right thing. I know a lot about easements because of the I&M background that I have, and I know how important that is to utilities. That was one of the things I would always check on when somebody would come to us and ask for a zoning type thing with the council, is I just want to make sure that they had gotten with the utilities before. And I was concerned when we were talking about the lines going over the pool. I know what that means, which is not good. I did have one question, and because it would help me in the long game too. Kyle, when it comes to an ordinance, because I remember one like that coming in front of the city council, because we were vacillating on a property down on Nebraska Street on how we were going to, somehow it had reverted to residential, and this young man wanted to start a auto repair business. It's a hangar type business. It's never going to be a residential, but somehow it got reverted back. And he came before the council asking if he could start up a car repair business there. Well, Center City, Marion, as we all know, is pretty they need help financially and things like that. And so wouldn't it be nice to have something like that down there, that if somebody did have a flat tire, they didn't have to go clear out to the bypass or something like that to have it fixed, or maybe brakes or whatever, you know? And so we listened to him and listened to the people. We had probably about, I don't know, a couple hundred signatures on a list that said that they were against the ordinance or against the zoning situation. And so when it came right down to it, I went out and started knocking on doors in the neighborhood and just asked, because these were the people on the list. And I said, hey, I'm Steve Wright, I'm a city councilman here, and just would like to know, what your feelings are on this. I see that you're against it. And I would say 80% of the doors I knocked on said, well, I just did that because my neighbor brought it to me. I just, and once I told them the story about what was going on down there, this guy, he's following his dad's footsteps, he's got the tools, and he's sounds like a good young man that would love to start a business and stuff. And once I told him that, so, well, we don't have any problem with that. And so a lot of times when things comes to us, if we don't do our homework, and that's what I've learned throughout the 12 years that I put on there. If I can't do my homework and do a good job at it, then I haven't done this job correctly. And so so we got into the public hearing. People come up, stuff. They're all against it. They're wearing their red shirts, which I appreciated so much today. I saw a couple red out there, but it was just because they wore red today. I mean, it just wasn't. But that particular thing, I mean, it was signs, evil looks. I mean, just the whole 9 yards. And I was listening to what they were saying. And so I asked for a recess. I took the property owner who wants to go ahead and do this, and I took some of the head people who were talking about it. And I got them out there and I said, what seems to be the real big issue here? You know what it boiled down to? A phone that was located out in front of his business at 2 a.m. with somebody carrying a boombox and playing loud music at night. That's what it came down to. It really did. That's what they were mad about. They were mad that it was gonna. They were mad because they thought it might cause junk cars sitting out in front. I could see that. So we talked to him, and he gave us his promises and this and that. That he wouldn't do that. He had already roofed the building. He was getting ready to paint it. It was going to be so much nicer than what they had down there at the time. And so when we came back, we all agreed to agree that it would be good. I asked the attorney, and that's the reason I point this to you, Kyle, just as it was tonight with the pool, which I hear you loud and clear because you're wanting to protect, right? Are you allowed to to write something like that in an ordinance, because I was told you couldn't.
Yeah, there's special things, and you can have reasonable accommodations and variance. There's also written commitments through the Area Plan Commission, which go with the land. So the Area Plan Commission's done it, I think, a couple times the last year or
Say you
so.
wanna put a business, say you own a farm ground.
Okay.
Instead of changing the whole zoning of your farm ground, we might change a little portion of it. And we said, as long as the business is open, the zoning's good, but as soon as you close the business, the zoning goes away.
So you can legally do
There's a
that.
specific statute on that, and certain requirements, has to be in writing, has to be approved at the meeting, it has to be signed.
I mean,
has to be
that's what
recorded.
came up with this one, because that's what I wanted to propose.
Yeah.
That if he ever sold it, he can't sell it, okay? I want, and whoever I talked to at that time, I can't remember who that was on.
Told you don't do it
Zoning
that way
thing.
sometimes, right? I'll tell you, our ordinance up there, if you change it to a certain zoning,
Yeah.
the book is about this thick and you can put about anything in it.
And that's what the
we
neighbors were
try to
complaining
stop.
about.
Yes.
I mean, it could be an adult bookstore down there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, it was zoned in that type of situation, and I
Yeah.
wanted to make sure, and so I tried to do that. We couldn't do it at the time, I don't know, I mean, it's been, let's see, I came off the board, the council in 2012, yeah, 2012 is when I came out. So I don't know if there's laws has changed, or,
It could be the difference between metropolitan and area planning. I mean, there's metropolitan
Okay.
laws, there's advisory, and there's area planning.
Okay.
For different populations. We've got land use tables that tell us, we look at zoning and what's allowed in that
Yeah.
zoning.
and like I say, every meeting I go to, I learn something new, just like that. I didn't know, glad you brought it up. I didn't know you could even do that. So, a lot of learning. Paul Thompson was on the city council when I came on, and I told Paul, I said, man, I got a lot to learn. He said, let me tell you, I'm still learning today. And he had already served, I don't know how many years. I mean, I think he had 16 in at the time, you know. And he says, I learn something new all the time, and you do.
And that's
right?
what we do with like an ordinance, like that solar ordinance
Yep.
you're looking at. We take it, we look at it, we listen to the public, what their input, we
Yep.
listen to what's fair from here to here, and try to come up with a happy medium.
Yeah.
To satisfy both sides. Sometimes you can't satisfy both sides because, you know, and that's why today I'm gonna ask you to read that ordinance page per page, real close. I know you're new, and I'm not gonna scream at you today or
Thank
anything.
you.
Well,
I
you know
had
how
that
it
this
is
morning.
when you get slammed into
On the call.
something. And really look at it, cause we took our time and we listened to the public and what was fair on value of the lands that you live there, if it happened to be around, what can we do, protect you, but still give solar company a chance to go talk to you and maybe be closer. We did a lot of thinking in it and put a lot of months in this. And that's why we hope you guys really take your time.
Well, let me tell you, I'm taking the time.
The research.
I've
Your research.
already got 2 meetings set up for this week.
Yeah.
I'm sure my phone will still be burning up.
All right, well,
You know, like I say, yesterday on a holiday, I talked to 6 people, and there was 3 more, I think, that called in and just left me a voicemail. And because I was on the phone to somebody else, and they said, you don't need to
a
call me
lot
back,
of
I just
people
wanna let
said
you
we
know.
didn't give the solar company, we gave them all the rooms that they need to come in closer from what we set back. Go talk to the landowners, you're gonna approach them and work a deal on it. And that way, if they feel like their property you might have to give them a little incentive to get closer. We left room in there, and a lot of people say we did, but we did.
Well, I have, I've gotten some great information, and I've gotten some misinformation
Yeah,
that people have given. And with that coming in that strong,
yeah.
I was not ready to make a vote on something that's gonna be set up now for the
Yeah,
next.
I felt sorry for you today too,
Yeah.
cause just being new, I
Yeah,
felt like.
it's like, and so again, that's the reason I came tonight. I didn't know if anything would be brought up tonight at this meeting about the solar.
No,
Just
it won't
wanted
be
to come
brought up
in.
again until you guys pass it down.
Well, I think you
sign it
gotta
off.
send it back to us, correct?
And then we got one more time to send it back, then you guys have the final say so.
Correct. And I guess what I'm saying is that in the time that I've studied it and things, I do think there's some things in there that very well could be challenged. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's where I need to get with some attorneys and make sure that I'm doing my due diligence in my position that I sit in.
Only thing I wish when this whole ordinance was done, is some of the commissioners would have come to some of our meetings and listened to what the people had to say.
Well, let me tell you, if you open that up again, I will be there.
It will be the next meeting, it'll be.
But you'll be on the board.
You'll be on the board. I'll be there regardless.
Okay,
And
so I will
it'll
sit
be
on
on
the
the
board.
fairgrounds.
Again, I'm
It won't
learning.
be here, it'll be
Okay.
on the fairgrounds.
Awesome, good, because I do want to hear what people have to say.
You know,
Want them to be there. Want
But
them to
I
be
also want them to listen to what we have to say as well.
oh
there.
yeah.
They give you a chance
Right.
to speak, yeah. They give you a
And
chance
so that's gonna be very important. It's a two-way communication street where, you know, and again, I've been at it long enough, on the city council that I know sometimes people get so locked in because and they're hearing things that's kind of a scare tactic sometimes. I mean, I heard that, you know, that you won't be able to use this farmland now, ever. Once the solar farm goes up, it just burns out the ground, the ground's no good and stuff like that. I talked to a farmer today and that's not right. I do know that it may take them 6-8 years to get that growing back the way it was because of maybe the nutrients or whatever, or maybe they brought some of the subsoil back up, replaced the topsoil with what they've dug down to and stuff like that. So I get it. I also understand there's a lot of stuff underground that I have no clue. And one of the meetings I got tomorrow is with Wendell Cates out
And
in
that's
tomorrow.
why we looked at it, and that's why we said all the different agencies need to be involved. That way, the drainage board's involved, the BZA involved.
Yep.
That way, everything's covered, and everybody got their opinion and say so into it, and that's what we're hoping on.
But
you're
the
also-
meetings that we've held, we've had 250 people show up, and they've been good mannered, and we listened to what they had to say. So,
Most of those meetings ran at least 3 hours.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, ours are the same
And they
thing.
was good
We take a
people.
potty break. I mean, it's like long meetings, you
And
know?
they was nice to us, I mean.
Yeah, good,
You could go to, like you said, you could go to a meeting, they could be screaming, hollering.
yeah.
These,
I believe you're aware they're on YouTube.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So I apologize, I haven't had time to watch that yet.
yeah.
18 hours of video?
In
What?
5 days, right? I mean, you know, it's like you just can't do everything in 5 days that you need to. And that's the reason I was just trying to buy some time today so I can do my due diligence. Also want to meet with some industry. What's this mean to them? Have you guys done that? I guess I would ask that question.
I don't think we had any industry.
Yeah.
We've had them come in and express what they would like to bring to the city.
the one that's used a facility that had been there, yeah, that maybe it's still concrete or something like that. We use that ground for what used to be an industry.
But they said, no, they don't want them on
But
farmland.
the closer we found out that they want to be to the grid, the better for them.
Okay?
Yeah, but some of the questions that I feel like the solar company was asking was trying to make things so lenient. Would it make it too easy for them just to slide in? And you gotta look at both sides. I feel like
Yeah.
you gotta look at their side and you gotta look, where's it gonna go? Do I want it near my house? What do I want? Or what do other people want? I gotta listen to these people.
Well, and I think size is a huge issue, right?
Yeah.
From most of the farmers, it's the size of the fields
Right.
that they're gonna be taking up. That's a huge concern, especially in a certain area where they're looking at the aesthetics of their home.
But it's,
Right.
And what's that
but
do to
it's
their
not only
home?
one farmer. Do you look at Savannah County, isn't it? Up north, I think it is.
Stark and Pulaski.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be doing.
It started out one little farm and they just spanned so far. And I tell you, I just come back from Cincinnati and I cut up towards Dayton, come across 70, 74. And I tell you, the solar fields out there, I see no bunkers. All I see is a fence. and that's it. It protects the zone law of the county.
No tree coverage.
Nope, nope.
I love the butterfly thing,
It
where
just
they said they
open
planted
fire
things
ground.
to attract butterflies, monarch butterflies. I'm thinking,
There's
right, you know,
there's vegetation agreements.
Yes.
And maintenance
Yeah.
agreements on what will be put in buffering and
yep,
ground cover.
I do want to say one thing about that, because we don't really get a vote. I
No,
don't think we'll ever get a vote. But with modern technology, why would you want it so low on the ground? Why don't you put it up high? Nothing says you can't put it up high, and you can use the land underneath.
well, somebody was telling me that this can go up to 20 feet, I
Yeah,
think is
yeah.
what they said, or something like
Yeah.
that.
And the panels would be probably about 10 feet on it.
Yeah,
something like
but you
that.
can use the land
Yeah,
underneath.
but the support system that the panels have to have probably,
but most
especially
of
with the
you
farmers'
see-
large.
Some of them have one pole. that holds them
Generally,
all.
max heights are between 20
Yeah.
and 25 feet,
Okay.
But,
or max.
but if you go high, you still got the land.
You still got the
I'm
land,
sorry,
yeah.
they're doing it with the
I know what
wheels,
you,
Yeah.
they're farming right around it.
Yeah, well, the gentleman that brought up the idea, you know, of the building, that the county was in front of us today, and talked about solar panels on top of that, make sure that the structure can take solar panels on top. I think that was a great idea.
and
You know,
couple
that's why I
questions.
say you learn something all the time, and that's one thing
Well,
I'll
we
be
found
asking.
out,
We have
just
to do that.
studying this, there's only what, if I'm right, one or two companies right now in the United States that recycle solar
One.
panels.
There's one.
You know,
So,
and a lot of these come from China and we don't know what's in them.
Right.
You know, these panels, and that's why I think in our ordinance, if I'm right, we kinda asked if they could, would they recycle instead of putting them back
Yeah.
into our landfill.
We put that in as a must.
right.
The gas city one said Germany. I checked them, I went over and looked at it, it said Germany. I didn't know they were a player.
In
Yeah, all these-
residential solar is actually governed by Indiana residential code.
Okay.
And they require that we get a stamp from an engineer that if panels are put on a roof, that the existing roof structure will handle what they're putting on. Indiana does not have anything for roof mounted commercial,
Okay.
so that's,
Well, you know,
it's
I-
engineering too, but I mean.
Yeah.
And I've read, you know, I've read a lot of, again, I've had a lot thrown at me as far as reading and stuff, and I've spent a lot of time with my nose to the papers.
So, but my point is, we do that anyway,
Yeah.
even without the
And
ordinance,
another
yet we're
thing
still
you
required.
you'll find out too, that we found out, maybe I'm putting solar field in before I get it done. This company decides to buy me out. Might not be the same company when it's finished.
And
And
also,
that's a lot of things we had to look at and different things.
and also you wanna think about the jobs that they say they're gonna produce and the abatements that they'll be asking for. Because we don't wanna have these people here to say, we're gonna be here, but we're gonna have Marion pay for it, and then they sell it, move on. Marion's left empty-handed,
Yep.
and we
Yep.
still have not accumulated the jobs
Yeah.
that they said they were gonna.
Absolutely.
So we
And
wanna
I,
give a
and
lot
I
of
think
thought to
some
that.
of the abatements that we as a city council had done, there wasn't enough clawback, information in some of those abatements that we did. And that's, I'm 100%.
Because when they say, cause you used to work for INM.
Yep.
When they put the new one out here at the substation, I went to Center Township, took a class, cause I'm district chairman for the Indiana Volunteer. They invited me in.
Oh, yeah, they won't let you in, right?
Well, they won't let us in inside the gate, but what I found out, when they say they have people working on it, how far away are they? And the two guys that worked on it at that time, they was on call, St. Joe, Michigan,
Yeah.
South Bend. So you're looking 3-hour drive, and that's the way a lot of stuff on these solars.
Yeah.
That's why I hope you guys really look at it. That's
will.
why
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I know I will.
Something to look at, and a good resource would be Jim McWhort.
Okay?
So he would need to do an evaluation of what they can actually expect in property taxes. Now, this is not like a house. These things will depreciate. They might depreciate in 10 years on the tax code. And once you sell it from one owner to another, the next owner pays much less for it based on its
Depreciation.
depreciated field.
Okay,
That assessment's gonna have to drop,
gotcha.
because it can't say, oh, well, we spent 100 million putting this field in, and we're gonna get property taxes on that for 30 years. Now, that's not necessarily the case that'll work out. So that kind of needs to be studied. And the other thing is tax abatements is kind of a new ballgame now. Some of the rules are off. You can go for more years and greater amounts. So,
What I found,
and one of the solar companies kind of pulled out when their tax abatement got turned down. So if you're thinking they're coming in, then, and they're talking about, we're gonna get all these property taxes, you may have to give a tax abatement to that they like, to get them to come in, actually, or they go somewhere else.
So I
And
can,
then it may sell a few times, and the value of that field goes down.
Yep, good
So
points,
it-
good
It may
points.
be a lot lesser payback.
well,
Good-
one
good
thing I
talk.
found out, I used to work at RCA too. And I knew they got a lot of federal and state abatements and stuff. And 7, 8 years after they closed their door, I started working for a guy, cause I have a commercial and residential business cleaning, and he still worked down in Indy at the home office. And he said, can you believe it? We don't even make a picture tube, and we still get abatement on it. Now, that's what really shocked me.
Right.
You think, soon as you're done making anything, or
The
the
abatement
bill's
goes away.
done, this done,
Yeah.
that abatement, no, they still got it to the end of the term.
Yeah, I took, I was on the city council when we came up with residential tax abatement. Took a lot of heat on that. You know, hey, I got a home, why don't you give me residential tax abatement, right? You know? Well, to get a development like Harbor Homes to come in,
Yeah.
that was a big selling point. I'm happy to say, I don't know how many homes is in that subdivision now?
It's full.
It's
It's
full.
full now, they
Right,
finally finished.
and if I'm right, it's between 300 and 400 homes, right? They're all probably paying somewhere around 1,000, 1,500, probably maybe even up close to 2,000, depending upon if they have any exemptions or not.
Yeah.
And so, happy to say, I'm more than welcome to give them a third off their first year, or 2/3 off their first year.
I can see that, because just most of the people who live in there are probably working in the county.
Well, it's not gonna get up and go anywhere,
Yeah.
right? They're gonna do those
And they're
homes,
spending it,
right?
but a company is just coming in, putting something, and the money's
Yeah.
going somewhere else.
Yeah, and, but what I'm saying is, the outcry of the people was huge.
Yeah.
The outcry of the people was huge. It's not fair, you know? Same way when we did, I was a huge proponent of the Aperion nursing home down here,
Yeah,
okay, on 14th and Valley,
yeah,
okay? Beautiful facility, got a beautiful park that they paid to put in.
yeah,
We gave them tax abatement. We had several people come who were nursing home owners and stating that that wasn't fair. We were putting them at a disadvantage. And I just asked the question, when was the last time you updated your facility? Because we had just looked for my father-in-law, and we ended up going to Warren. I think those are things that we have to take a look at, which has forced the people to kind of invest in their properties
yeah.
and do the right things. And I truly believe, and that was one that probably got me beat, because 2 years later, that's when I got beat.
Yeah.
And so, I'm willing to take that bullet if that's what's great for the
I know what you're
community.
talking about, and they did put a nice park down through there.
It's beautiful, and they did it. They paid for it. $14 million project in Center City, Marion. Tell me who else is gonna invest in something like that in Center City, Marion? So
I know probably which nursing homes complain. And
I'd like to ask-
I won't
they
get
had
into
built
that.
a new one in Grant
Yeah,
County.
remember, these are all.
Yeah, I won't get into that.
I gotta ask one more question.
Yes,
I'd like for you to contact the realtors of the state of Indiana that.
realtors of the state of
Yeah,
Indiana.
because that way they can, you can ask them
Oh,
about
yeah.
property
Great idea.
evaluation. Those people have the knowledge to let you know exactly
Yep.
what it does and what it won't do.
Yep,
And so that way we've got a complete,
I appreciate
correct answer for that.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Good. I don't want to take any more of your time. I was only wanting to go till about 7.
Well, we're glad
Sorry,
you
till
stopped
7.
by.
We're glad you stopped
Well,
by.
you guys-
Stopped by.
You're gonna see me. To me, I signed up for a job, want to do the job. And some people are gonna like what I do, some people are gonna say, but by the time, I'll feel good about doing the research that I need to do to make an informative decision. And, that's me.
Well, this was a very good July 5th meeting.
Good.
It was one
We were supposed to
coming to
meet
July
on Monday.
meeting.
This is
Yeah, I
a
thought it
special
was very
meeting.
informative.
Yeah, my pleasure, my pleasure. Thank you for your time.
All right,
And
thank
again,
you for
appreciate what all you do.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Are we done?
Hold on, Bill.
I've got one- I've got
Sorry.
one- I've got one thing. I've got one thing.
Okay.
What about a replacement person for that person that's not here
Yes,
or
what-
not
that's what I was
coming
gonna
or
talk about.
whatever?
Where are we at?
I did get a hold, Jared did call me.
Yeah.
With his, he used to be the code enforcement officer for Marion. He's now working for Helvey's well. Between the new job, him trying to get certifications for that job and several small children, he thought he could handle this position, but it was way more than he can handle. So he has informed me that he is going to resign. He's going to get me a letter and get Shane a letter. I spoke with Shane. Shane, in the July 20th council meeting, will, if he receives the resignation letter, will again put that application out there. So we're looking at that replacement on the APC, probably September, because they'll wait till August, pick in August, and it'll be the September meeting.
And we're 3 short.
Now, we can get a BZA member right away, though.
Right.
Myron, you've got one choice, and that is Myron. You're gonna have to get Myron, because it's gotta be a citizen member. Rex is incorporated, your only unincorporated is Myron.
Our only ones. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
who appoints them? Is that the president or the full board?
APC
Board,
would appoint,
I think it was brought up.
Next one's next meeting, right?
Yeah,
so on August 1st.
and then
So then we're
we're,
looking at
and
September.
then we're looking for another one from Upland, ain't we?
We've got Upland, they have talked about it, that I know of, the last 2 meetings.
Because
I talked about it at one meeting.
He left.
Where's Couch going?
He resigned from the Upland Town Hall.
They have problems over there. Whatever's going on, I don't want to meddle on it.
Yeah.
They got a fight going on and he said, I'm done with it.
Yeah, they got something to do.
So APC has three new with Commissioner Wright being one,
Yeah.
a citizen member by council and Upland representative coming as quick as we can get them there.
What's Upland doing? When are they gonna meet? When are they gonna?
I've talked to them and they met, I believe, twice since. I was over there for digital sign ordinance, discussed it with them. They have replaced, Mr. Crouch with Mr. Voss.
What's Mr. Voss's first name?
I can't remember.
Oh, boy.
Quit smiling.
Sorry.
These are Upland gentlemen.
He's gonna
I-
own that city here pretty soon.
Yeah,
He's gonna
Mr. Voss
own
is the
that
one
city.
who has the satellite company that just came into Upland.
Okay, not the Voss.
Works
I
for
know
NASA.
that.
So, I talked to Warren Ross over there also. Right now, he sits on the park board, and I know something he was thinking about was allowing Mr. Voss, I think Mr. Voss has 4 children. So
I think he
Warren
got
said,
more than
I might let him sit on the park board, that makes more sense, and maybe Warren will step over to the APC. But he said he's brought it up twice, and they still haven't done
And it's
it.
getting one of the
Have they
council.
contacted
town
Miles
board members
Leffler?
to
'Cause
step
he was
up
going to be
because
on the
both
Upland
of them
board.
don't- Cause
He
just like
owns
in
the
Jonesboro,
In-Rose
I
Outlaws Gun
complained
Shop.
about Robert not showing up.
Yeah.
Miles
Yeah, I
Leffler.
inspected his house, I know exactly where he is.
Okay, yeah.
Step up.
Cause I talked to him for, a couple years, about a year ago. And he
There's a
said he
change
would be
going on
willing to
there,
be on the
too.
board. So you might wanna
There's
get
gonna be
in contact
changes
with
going
him.
on with the council.
But
too.
he would not be,
And this one got already got put
if Miles was the representative, Upland would be the only town that didn't
I
have an
didn't ask
elected
him,
official.
I heard it, I don't
on
want
the
nothing
board.
to do with it.
Okay, are we done with our business here?
Yep,
I'll stay on that end of it and keep you
Okay,
guys.
we have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion is adjourned.
You have to fill out your papers.
I didn't bring my paper, and I gotta get it filled out, cause I left it at home, I come from Muncie.
The other thing we
I tried to
can do
get
is
here
we can
just to
send
get here.
you've got X amount of days to replace. I don't wanna
But
send
do
it.
we
you
have,
have a- do you have-
we really don't have,
Do
we
you
can
have an
say that,
extra one
but
here
do we
that I
have
can fill out?
reported
Extra one?
State code says they've got 60 days to replace any vacancy.
because that's why when Robert wasn't showing up in Jonesboro, that's why I was, when we couldn't have a forum, I kept telling Bob, when you can hear, we need a forum, I need to be on something. Go in his office, gentlemen, jump on, do something. I need a quorum.
So how do you, we've got it, we could use it, I just, I hate to just, after we've just had to read out into.
I know when you do, don't jump somebody, take a order.
Right?
Still thinking. But I told Terry, that's how we said,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Basically, somebody, the usual, somebody.
We're moving better. Good night.
Yeah, you are walking a lot better.
Can't do it.
I told Jill, you better start working on something.
There is.
Instead of a sunburn.
Getting a little pale.
Obviously, Marion has its own zoning. Some have.
Oh, really?
Sway fees.
Oh, yeah, do you have more?
Yeah, there was two of them.